It was just another late-night rehearsal at the Balat Hakalama acting studio. The old space was filled with the smell of dust, coffee, and ambition. Our director, a man who believed in the power of raw emotion, kept yelling, "Dream with your eyes open. I want to feel it." But for me, gal, focusing on the script was impossible. My eyes, my heart, my every breath, they were all tangled up with Noah. Noah was, well, she was Noah. She had this effortless charm, a light that shone without needing anyone's permission. Her laughter could fill the entire cavernous studio, and her presence just seemed to soften all the hard edges of the world. I'd watched people fall for her before, boys, girls, adoring fans after our small community shows. It was a common sight. I always told myself I was different. I was a serious actor. I was here to work, to build a career, not to get lost in some foolish dream. But dreams, as I was about to learn, have a funny way of breaking through, even when you've built walls to keep them out. That night, we were rehearsing a pivotal scene, a love confession. My character was supposed to be the one revealing her feelings, but the director switched it up. He wanted to see Noah's take. She looked at me, her eyes holding mine, and delivered the line, "You're the one I can't forget." Her voice was a whisper, but it cracked on the last word, filled with something raw and completely unscripted. My heart hammered against my ribs. I felt it. A tremor that had nothing to do with acting and everything to do with the two of us, standing there under the harsh studio lights. My breath caught in my throat. Our eyes locked for what felt like an eternity, way longer than the scene required. The air crackled with unspoken energy. Cut. The director's voice boomed from the darkness behind the lights, shattering the moment. Great intensity. Let's take a 5-minute break. Slowly, the rest of the troupe started to disperse, heading for water or their phones. The buzzing energy of the room faded, but the silence between Noah and me grew deafeningly loud. I felt exposed, vulnerable. My first instinct was to run. I turned to leave, to find a quiet corner and gather my thoughts. But Noah's hand shot out, her fingers brushing against my wrist. The touch was electric. "You felt it too, didn't you?" she asked, her voice low and steady. I froze, my back still to her. Felt what? I tried to sound casual, dismissive, but my voice came out shaky. "That it wasn't acting," she said, her words hitting me with the force of a revelation. For a single, suspended heartbeat, the world stopped. All the walls I'd spent years building, all the excuses I'd made, all the fears I'd buried about who I was and what I truly wanted, they all started to crumble. Here, under the unflattering glow of the work lights, with Noah's gaze searching mine, there was nowhere left to hide. I turned around slowly, my eyes meeting hers. She looked so open, so honest. It was terrifying and exhilarating all at once. I took a hesitant step closer, closing the small distance between us. "Maybe I did," I whispered, the admission tasting like freedom on my tongue. A slow, beautiful smile spread across Noah's face. It was the kind of smile that could undo years of pretending. "Then stop pretending," she said, her voice a gentle command. The first kiss wasn't in the script. It wasn't in any of my wildest dreams, because I'd never dared to dream it. It was soft, uncertain, a question trembling in the space between fear and truth. The air smelled of old props, stage makeup, and stale coffee. Noah leaned in again, and this time, there was no hesitation. Her confidence was a magnet, pulling me in. My hand, as if with a mind of its own, found the curve of her waist, pulling her closer. And for the first time in what felt like forever, I stopped acting. This wasn't a performance. It was a discovery. It was me. When we finally, reluctantly, pulled apart, we were both breathless. The silence returned, but this time it was different. It was filled with a new, beautiful possibility. "What now?" Noah asked, her voice shaking just a little, betraying her own vulnerability. I felt a genuine, unforced laugh bubble up from my chest. "Now," I said, my own smile finally reaching my eyes. "Now, we keep dreaming, together." But dreams, especially the ones you share with someone else, are rarely easy. The shift between us was subtle at first, but people noticed. Word spread through the troupe like a quiet fire. There were whispers in the dressing rooms, lingering stares during rehearsals, that uncomfortable mix of curiosity and judgment from our peers. Some dismissed it as just method acting, a way for us to get into character. Others whispered that it's only a phase, as if our feelings were a temporary costume we'd soon take off. I tried to ignore it. I told myself their opinions didn't matter. All that mattered was what was happening between Noah and me. But the fear, that old familiar fear of being seen too clearly, of being judged for who I loved, began to creep back in. It was a cold shadow that followed me around the studio. I started to pull away, creating a little bit of distance, a safety buffer. I'd answer her questions with shorter replies. I'd leave rehearsals right after we were done, avoiding those quiet moments we used to cherish. Noah, of course, noticed. She saw right through me. One afternoon, between takes, she cornered me near the costume rack. "You're pulling away," she said, her tone not accusatory, just sad. "I can feel it." She looked at me, her gaze steady and unwavering. "If you want to walk away, if this is too much, just say it. But please, don't hide from me." I looked at her, really looked at her, and in her eyes, I saw my own fear reflected back at me. She was scared too. We were both standing on the edge of something huge, something more real and more important than either of us had planned. And maybe that's the true definition of a dream. It's having the courage to leap without knowing for sure if you'll have a soft place to land. My hand trembled as I reached out and brushed a stray curl from her cheek. The gesture was small, but it felt monumental. It was a choice. "I'm not walking away," I whispered, my voice thick with emotion. "Not this time." Relief washed over her features, and she gave me a small, grateful nod. A few minutes later, the director called us back for the next rehearsal. It was our scene, the same love confession from that fateful night. As we took our places, I felt a new sense of calm settle over me. This time, I didn't need to act. There was no character to hide behind. When Noah delivered her line, "You're the one I can't forget," every word was a perfect, shining truth. And when it was my turn to respond, the words flowed from a place deep inside me, a place I had kept locked away for far too long. The rest of the room, the lights, the crew, it all faded into a blur. It was just us, and somewhere between the world of fiction and the undeniable truth of our feelings, we kissed again. It wasn't because the script demanded it. It wasn't for an audience. It was because our hearts demanded it. From the darkness, I expected to hear the director shout cut, but he didn't. There was just a quiet, knowing smile on his face as he let the camera roll. Because he understood. He knew that some stories, the very best ones, aren't written down on a page. They're lived out loud, for everyone to see. Thank you so much for watching our story unfold. If this resonated with you, please give this video a like and consider subscribing to our channel for more stories from the heart. See you next time.